Well, wildlife biologists at the New York State DEC have always gone to great lengths to learn more about and protect our native wildlife. Well, our next story will give you an idea of just how far. Our Terry Belke takes us to the outdoors.
The practice of banding birds has been around for centuries, dating back to 218 BC. The modern form of banding began in North America about 1805 with John James Audubon. Banding is a way to gather information on the lives of birds and is both a complex and delicate procedure. So imagine banding birds in the rugged environment of the Arctic. That's exactly how DEC wildlife biologist and Grand Island native Josh Stiller spent part of his summer. He joined biologists from 3 other groups on Baffin Island in the Canadian Arctic. They were there to band several thousand geese, including the brant, a native New York goose similar to but smaller than the Canada goose.
Their numbers are smaller, so they're more sensitive to harvest. We just have to be more careful with how we manage them and have to have more information on how we manage them. And they're the ones that are most frequently found in New York. Like I said, we winter about 45% of the brant population winters in New York.
The 5-year project is in its 2nd year. They expect to learn quite a bit
about their migration routes, habitat usage, annual survival, harvest rates, and fidelity. So like how often are they going back to the same areas, whether that's the breeding areas or the wintering areas.
Though not a threatened species, the brant's choice of breeding habitat does make life a little bit more difficult for them. They migrate in the spring from New York and the East Coast, heading north to their preferred breeding grounds in very remote places like Baffin Island. That gives them a pretty short window of opportunity to reproduce.
They have a really short breeding season before it freezes back up. So these birds are stressed a lot more than like our Canada geese that have this huge range of time when they can nest. These birds are on a very short time schedule, and so they have a lot fewer young. They don't always reproduce in every year, so they have what's called a boom and bust type of productivity.
Aside from all of the information being gathered, the project could also be looked at as a lesson in connectivity, a reminder of why habitat protection is so important and why we must all remain mindful of our impact on the planet.
It's a species that relies on habitats in New York to survive, and if we don't have the necessary information to properly manage the species, they're a sensitive species that, if there's massive changes, and you brought up climate change and things like that, we really don't know what the effect is going to be on this species.
Taking you to the outdoors, I'm Terry Belke.
And a reminder that coming up on November 6th, Terry Belke is hosting an environmental forum at Tiff Nature Preserve. You can meet and learn from some of the unsung heroes of the community of people who care for our domestic animals. That free event coming up a week from this Wednesday, starting at 7 p.m.